Why are there children in first? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome to Unrelenting episode number 53 for December 9th, 2022. It's a Friday. And Gene, we're actually getting new listeners one at a time?
Well, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I am Darren O'Neill. He is Gene. Sir Gene.
I am Sir Gene. God damn it.
He's surging. Gene is surging.
Surging.
He's always surging.
That's right.
Right on in. So
never heard that before.
You added one new listener in the past week. So you know what? By 2059, we might have enough to make this a viable show.
Wow, you're optimistic, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Okay, 2069, maybe.
2629? I agree with that.
That may be even better. We're gonna need some of that gene therapy to keep us alive much longer than the average.
Long enough to be viable.
Right.
That's a podcast title right there.
Long enough to be viable.
All right. So yeah, I as some people might know, I play video games.
No, I've never heard that. Really?
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Is it really true that you spent money on ships again?
No, totally lies. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
So you're playing video games, not losing all your money playing video games.
No. I was playing World of Warships, which is it's a good, relaxing video game. Your ship shoots about once every 15, 20 seconds. So, it's not the super fast running around shooting stuff the kids play. And I'm in a clan. I'm in a group there.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
You don't want to say that too loud in certain parts of Texas.
I know, that's true. I'm in the Texas clan. And there's another guy in the Texas clan there that hasn't been on in a while. And we got talking, and he said, what would you been busy doing? I said, well, I'm doing like 3 podcasts right now. He's like, podcasts? I didn't know you did a podcast. I'm like, yeah, that's because you don't pay attention. And so I gave him all the links, and then yesterday we were on, and he mentioned that he'd been listening. I was like, really? He says, yeah, I'm on episode 3.
You're enjoying it? Wow.
And I said, well, hold on. What do you mean episode 3? Are you going backwards chronologically? Or did you start at the beginning?
Right.
He started at 1.
Well, that's how you catch up.
Catch up. This is a podcast about nothing.
Right. You don't want to miss it.
I'm like, most people start at the back. Go forward, dude. I don't know. It's well, we'll see. So by the time he gets to this episode, you'll have a nice little surprise hearing about how I mentioned them. Probably in about a year.
This episode.
Mm-hmm.
There is a rumor in the troll room that you brokered the Brittany Griner exchange.
Why would people think that?
I don't know. This is how things start.
Do I want her back?
No, I don't think you.
Okay.
You're like, wait, if I can trade for any woman in Russia, this wouldn't be the one that you're.
There'd be a lot of. Although I will have to say that it's a damn good deal for Russia.
Oh, yeah. Well, it seems to make the United States look like a bunch of losers. Because you're giving away. Although it was interesting.
We want our transvestites back.
The coverage of the guy that they gave back to Russia, which was his name, Boot, something like that. I'm forgetting the guy's name.
There's a movie about him.
But we talked about it at length, and you were like, the guy's not really dangerous at all.
Yeah.
Totally. On No Agenda yesterday, I heard he was the most dangerous man in the world. So they're somewhere in the middle, I guess is the truth.
His nickname. That's not what he actually is. It's just his nickname.
Oh, well, there you go. Did he give himself? It's probably one of these, like he gave himself the nickname too. I am the most dangerous man in the world.
Not really, but it's mostly for marketing. It's not at all realistic. But did you watch the movie about him?
I did not.
No. Nicolas Cage plays him.
We left other people behind in Russia because it was way more important to get Brittany Griner out.
The most important American that needs to get traded. Now, forget about all the CIA agents that they could have gotten in exchange instead.
Or added into the deal. Not even instead. It could have been added into the deal.
Well, yeah. But
Putin
Russia
is
knows
making
the value of this 9-foot-tall basketball player.
Yeah.
Clearly American sports are suffering as a result of not having the Griner here.
It's the kind of deal that makes Joe Biden look even worse, and that's hard to do. Putin wins this one.
This one?
Well, he wins most, it seems.
Like every single one for the last 2 years, basically?
Biden not looking really good. Like, it's like, well.
This is where the American priorities are.
Right.
Our inflation is higher than it was during Carter. Our economy is going down the toilet. China is making independent deals with Saudi Arabia. And now that we're reading the Twitter files, it is pretty damn clear the elections were stolen.
Yes, and just a completely different way than everybody thought. Well, we thought. This is exactly what we've been predicting.
There was interference. It just wasn't coming from Russia.
Correct.
It was coming from actual communists.
Yes, the FBI. And the Democrat Party mainly.
The Democrat Party, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think, the FBI certainly played a hand, but I think this has more to do with people in the FBI being Democrats than it does with the FBI just being the FBI.
Yes, and this is why it is very important to understand why free speech is important, why it's important to say, hey, this guy that's spewing all the Hitlerisms, I will fight for his right to say it rather than to have him silenced, because that is how important free speech is. Yeah,
I don't care about that nearly as much as about getting rid of the Democrats. I think that people need to, not, by killing them or anything, but
I wasn't going to ask for any clarification.
I needed to clarify that in this modern world, because clearly people assume right off the get-go that if you say get rid of something, it means to, kill it.
Right. You just mean they shouldn't be in office.
I mean, they should be in prison.
Okay. In a Russian prison? I hear there's a lot of space.
If we want to lease prison space elsewhere, I mean, Alaska has a lot of space too. I don't see why we couldn't build something up there.
We can put them all in an Alaskan prison and then give Alaska back to Russia.
I'll give you a very practical first early start. The Republicans are idiots, first of all, and they've been idiots for a long time, and they don't see what's been going on with the culture war as actually dangerous.
Right.
But here's a tip. Don't ever hire a Democrat. If
it'll hurt your business.
Republicans own more companies, way more companies than Democrats do.
Even in the tech sector right now, because that seems like it's all run by lefties.
It is all run by lefties. Absolutely true. That's because there's a second hint here. Don't give money to communist businesses. I don't subscribe to Netflix. I don't want to support a company like that. But yet, I'd say probably 80% of my conservative friends on a regular basis ask me, oh, hey, did you watch this? Blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, no, I hadn't heard of that. What channel is that on? Oh, it's on Netflix. Netflix? Why would you still be subscribing to Netflix?
They loved cuties.
I don't know. I don't care. Whatever.
They watch cuties every day. They love it.
Every country has the government it deserves, the U.S. included. And the reason that we have the worst government in the world right now is because half the country are communists and the other half are willing to put up with it.
I don't know if I agree with those numbers because I don't think most people are engaged. Now, the people that you're talking about are the ones
that aren't engaged.
Right.
They're the worst.
Oh, of course.
They're worse than the communists.
They're the ones just looking at their phones, swiping left, swiping right, swiping up, swiping down, and have no idea what's going on in the real world around them.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't engage, then they're part of the problem.
Oh, I fully agree. And that is part of the issue with these phones. And
no, the issue is not with the phones. The issue is with idiots. We have too many idiots.
That is true. That you can't blame the tool. It just makes it easier for them to fall down these rabbit holes into whatever virtual world. And I get the people who are like, who cares about Twitter? It's like, well, if you don't believe, and I'm like, you are way healthier if you stay off of social media. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. But anybody that denies the effect that the messages that flow through Twitter and other social media, if you're going to deny that actually has an effect on reality in elections and what people do, you're an idiot, because it certainly has an effect.
Oh, it has an effect. And more importantly, the thing that Twitter clearly did now is demonstrated. And man, this is, I don't know what the outcome is going to be here for Musk, because the thing that should happen is Twitter ought to be sued into bankruptcy. The problem is Musk is going to lose $40 billion if that happens.
Well, it's interesting because the company has been taken over by a whole new regime. So going back and saying, well, the sins of the previous regime should be held accountable by the
same
current
company.
ones. Oh, I understand that. But that's the hilarity of this, which is like you would be punishing the person who's trying to fix what the previous regime did.
But that's how law works.
Oh, I get that.
And unfortunately, it probably is going to happen. I think this is going to cost Musk a hell of a lot financially.
Well, now the real question is, somebody had brought back the video evidence, the video testimony of Jack Dorsey before Congress when he was straight out asked, are you censoring conservatives? And he said no. Are you censoring anybody? He said no. It's like, well, that seems to have been proven a lie. If you lied before Congress, you go to fucking jail.
They weren't censoring conservatives. They were affecting the visibility of conservatives, which they consider to be two completely different things.
Yeah, but we all know, again, let's just make the language into something different. No, we didn't silence them. We just made it so nobody could see them. Don't you understand the difference, you silly person that's not technical?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, that's the argument. It's like, no, what Jack Dorsey in jail? He already looks like he's got the beard for it. I mean, no offense. I mean, you do too. But he looks like he's been somebody
you could never have the beard that I have in prison. That would never happen.
He's like, well, if you send him to Gitmo, don't they keep the beards down there? I don't know. It's very important. But
yes. They also get a burial at sea down there too.
And it was sometimes you disappear. Now, Dorsey made a comment that was interesting to me, which was to Musk, release everything without filters. It's like, what else is there? I'm curious what Dorsey thinks he knows, or knows that he thinks there's some kind of documentation there that Musk is not releasing, I guess, which is an interesting defense of all of the crap.
Well, it's interesting that somebody that held something back for 2 years is now calling on somebody else to release something that he wants.
Right.
Fuck him. Dorsey is I'm not going to say it, but let's just say, is similar to other people that like children. If you go back far enough, I actually said this in one of our episodes. I think one of the first ones we did.
And we weren't immediately canceled off of every platform.
Yeah, well,
Is anybody hearing this? Are we visible? Can they hear us?
No, we have no listeners, so luckily it doesn't matter. I'm just going to say that there's too many similarities there.
And it is an interesting case. It really is. And we have to understand that this is...
It was his platform. He was the CEO for how many years that there was child trafficking going on.
Because we have to believe that these companies can actually control the data going back and forth on it, which is just so ridiculous to believe. But this is, again, the law is the law. Of all the
things they spent time, energy, and money on trying to block, it wasn't child trafficking. It was Republicans.
Right. Oh, and there's no question about that.
If that doesn't tell you their priorities, nothing else will.
There is no question about that, nor is there seemingly a question now that the guy that was the
head groomer?
Which guy? The head groomer over at Twitter that was on the Kara Swisher show that admitted there and other that, they were having weekly meetings with the FBI and other people, I'm sure. But leading up to the last presidential election, having weekly meetings with the FBI to get, some tips on who to silence and who to put into this category and who to put into that category.
Well, it was just FBI. There was actually members of Congress sending them directives saying, hey, this person shouldn't be on Twitter. And Twitter is saying, okay.
That's dangerous.
That came out.
Now, there's a lot of people that use that argument. Well, that's not covered by free speech because
hey,
Twitter's
man,
a
it's
private
a private company. They
Right.
can do what they want. Well, here's the problem. A private company that is run at the whim of the government is not acting as a private company.
And what is...
It's acting as a government contractor. Government contractors are companies that have to comply with all the federal regulations, including the Constitution. The government can't simply outsource something that's illegal for it to do and say, well, it's legal now because we're paying a company to go do it.
Yeah. Well, and this is Twitter. This is Facebook.
I mean, Facebook had direct investments, but this is the other thing. I'm sure there are people with much more in-depth legal minds and time on their hands that spent looking at this. But I've always wondered, how can a company like Facebook, which had direct financial investment from the U.S. government early in its days, could be argued was a company that was staked by the CIA, how can it not have to be compliant with government regulations? How can it be able to do things that are prohibited to the government by the Constitution? Because it's a company that would not have existed were it not for government investment.
And it's interesting when you look at laws worldwide, and I don't remember hearing one case. If you have anybody out there, let me know. But there was a big deal about a year ago, I think, where Poland passed a law that said if a Polish citizen posts anything on social media that is censored or taken down, but it is legal Polish speech. So if you could, if you're out in the street in Poland and say it and it's legal, but a social media company blocks it or does anything to impede that, they would fine the social media companies. I don't remember hearing one case after that, but I don't know if that ever then was challenged or if any Polish people had shadow bans. It would be interesting to see. But in the United States, okay, you've got Twitter, and I don't think anybody's going to argue that that is the biggest public square. Facebook is right up there. Instagram is up there, also owned by Facebook.
I'll tell you my personal take on this is I do think that private companies do have more leeway. And the problem I have is with the lies coming out of Twitter. If Twitter simply said that we are the liberal town square, we don't want conservatives on here. We are a company that is creating a product for socialists and communists and whatever other titles they use, Antifas. And that's what we are. So they're effectively the liberal Gab. Fine. I have no problem with that. Let them be the liberal Gab. Gab still exists. Doesn't mean everybody needs to be on Gab. Even people that aren't socialists and aren't liberals, if they got on Gab, they would probably be offended. I don't get on Gab often. I probably get in there once every 3-4 months just to see if there's any spam or junk mail.
Only when somebody is for me. Only when somebody is selling some virtual spaceships on Gab.
Well, it could be. Spaceships are important, but it is not a pleasant place. I for me personally, it is way too much identity politics. There's way too many people on Gab that are bitter and pissed off at random strangers who share some characteristics with other people. For people that have never been on Gab, think of Yee.
It's a whole community of Yees?
It's a whole community of Yees talking about their problems. Now,
that would be
it doesn't mean Gab shouldn't exist.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I even have an account on Gab. I get on Gab. I have no problem with them being around. I have no problem with people talking about things that make them look stupid. That's okay. But the problem is that Twitter kept denying that they were the equivalent of Gab for liberals.
Right.
And as such, they garnered a much higher status in society in the world. And it was kind of like, well, if you saw it on Twitter, it must be true.
Well, and it's one of these things where they grew to be the biggest when they were not censoring. I mean,
that's exactly right, too. That's very true. They grew because, and I remember when Twitter launched, I got an account shortly thereafter. They launched here in Austin. And it was just like, this is so stupid. It's only 80 characters. What can I possibly say? It's just a bunch of people putting stupid messages out there about their lives. I'm eating breakfast now. Ha ha.
Right. There were no
that's what
photos
Twitter
yet.
was.
There
was no politics. There were no blue check marks, and there were no reporters.
There were no direct messages. There was no adding anybody. The people that were using Twitter came up with that as a feature.
Mm-hmm.
This was basically a very simplistic, let's just text message everybody.
It was a micro blogging platform when it launched.
Yes. And that's how they grew.
And Jack Dorsey didn't have a beard back then.
Right. And it's gotten way longer since Elon just said he's pulling now, I think it was 1.5 billion accounts, which are long left for dead. Which again, it's been around a long time. There's been a lot of people that have died. There's been a lot of people who haven't logged in for years.
Yep.
Those accounts get to go away again, which is also an interesting thing because we know Twitter's been using those numbers like, hey, we got 14 billion quadrillion people.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Total bullshit.
But
that's absolute bullshit.
You grew to be the public square because you were free and open. That's the problem when you then try to start going in the other direction of like, well, we're not going to allow this point of view. And you're right. Twitter could have done a bunch of different things. They could have, one, said, you know what? We figured out we want to be the liberal platform. They could have also split into two. They could have made it very easy. Check a box. If you're on this side, then check this box. If you're on this side, check this box. And you won't see any of the stuff from the other side of this.
Yeah. But instead, what they decided to do is use the political preferences of the executives and presumably the owner. I'm not going to leave Jack out of this. In order to then manipulate their platform to absolutely promote one side and make the other side look bad.
Exactly.
And if that's not election tampering, I don't know what it is.
Right, because it's under the guise of you're seeing everything. We're not censoring anyone. This is free and open news moving around.
No, it's literally like going to a scene of a fires raging that were lit by Antifa, pointing the camera directly away from the fires and saying, well, John, we're at the scene, and it appears to be a totally calm, normal neighborhood in America. I don't know what everybody's talking about. And then you cut the camera at that point, and you're done. I mean, it's a lie.
Oh, it is.
It's a lie by omission, and that's exactly what Twitter's been doing, is lying by omission.
And while you're never going to change the mind, there are people, and it's probably about 25% of the people are ardent on the right, 25% ardent on the left. It's those people in the middle that can be swayed by random garbage they see on the internet. Believe it or not. I mean, I know that sounds hard to believe, but people are that dumb that they can be swayed by what they see while scrolling Twitter. And if only one side is allowed to make their point, what do you think that does?
Exactly.
You weren't on Twitter.
All you got to do is look at Antifa and the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse had to use deadly force to prevent somebody from killing him.
Right. But look,
where are those people getting their motivation from?
Now, you weren't
It's not by watching mainstream news. I guarantee you that. Well, they're all way too young to watch. I don't think anybody
watches mainstream. That's the problem. Well, not
exactly.
Really.
I don't think it's a problem, but what they're motivated by are the lies that were coming out of Twitter.
But while you were not on Twitter, I could have been on Twitter.
Kyle should sign up. He should start a lawsuit against Twitter.
There's been a few. I'm sure there'll be more. But you weren't on Twitter. I still can't find where you are now. I mean, I tried searching for Sir Gene and that on Twitter.
Sir Gene TX on Twitter.
Okay, I will add that. But for a long time, you weren't on Twitter, and I was. So, I mean, I could have just been posting messages every day like, wow, Gene this, Gene that. And if you're not there to defend yourself, those messages people read and go, well, this must be true. Yeah. That's the problem with silencing one side. And there's still people who don't get that. Like, well, no, but this is why the hate speech is dangerous bullshit has come out. Like, we can't even let anybody that would dare support Trump say anything because this is dangerous for our democracy.
They're literally doing this just like in the novel and the film Dune. Muad'Dib, which is the main character's new name, became a power word. I mean, they're saying that the word Trump is now deemed dangerous. That word by itself, the word Trump, causes what do they call it? It causes harm. They love the word harm. So it's like it's saying Trump causes harm. Nobody should be allowed to say Trump.
Because it's, bad. It's dangerous.
It causes harm. It causes harm to LGBTQ plus minus divided by equal sign.
This is where the people who don't understand why free speech is important, they're the ones that go down, and I get it. I get how this package is sold. Like, you don't want somebody spreading hateful Nazi rhetoric, do you? And it's like, yes, rather than silencing them, yes. But most people are like, well, no, it would be a better society without that. It's like, well, then where do you think this stops with who gets silenced and what magical words? I mean, we know we got the magical N word. You know, there are things that if you say or do, you're going to be canceled. Even if you're a teacher using it in a classroom setting. And I still want to know what the proper thing for a teacher to do in that case when you're doing a class on racism or whatever, and you're like, well, no, you know, the N word. And if a student honestly asks, like, well, I don't know what word that is that I'm not supposed to say. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you then let them know the word without getting fired?
Well, you have to expel the student for asking the question.
Well, that would be true. That would be dangerous thoughts.
That's the correct answer.
You're trying to have a thought that we are not.
The student needs to be sent to a re-education camp up in Siberia.
Wait,
we're talking about America? Oh, I thought we were talking about communist Russia back in the 1940s.
No, Russia's way more free today than America.
Today it is, yeah.
They don't have these little petty fights around Twitter, I'm betting. Does the Russian news talk about Twitter a lot?
No, not really. I mean, they're mostly talking about Brittany Griner because that's the hot topic.
They were finally happy to get her out.
Get rid of her, yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Him, her, whatever, get rid of it.
But this is it. Free speech is important. It has always been important. It's one of the bedrocks of this country. Most countries do not have free speech. And that was one thing that makes America different. At least it did. But I remember even going back, you were there around the same time, I think, going to Ireland in 2009. I believe it was still illegal to say like something bad about the Pope or something. There were some weird laws still in Ireland, and there still may be. But it's like, no, you don't have the freedom of speech if you can't go out onto the streets and say, screw the Pope, you know, and they'll put you in jail for that because, well, there are some things you can't do, or you can't insult the king or queen of England. You can't, you know, there's...
Well, you sure as hell can in Ireland.
Well, yeah. No, well, yeah. You can definitely say whatever you want about the king or queen of England while in Ireland.
Yes.
That's allowed and even encouraged. But people think like, oh, yeah, free speech. It's like...
No, I was in Ireland in 2000.
It's a beautiful place.
It really is. It's gorgeous. It's a country that was built for painting.
Oh, yeah. If you want to talk landscapes.
Every landscape, every vista just looks like a beautiful painting.
That's because there's so few people around in all those rural areas.
Lots of sheep.
Yes. Way more sheep than people.
Yeah.
It's a much more...
But all the lawns are very trimmed and manicured as a result of the sheep.
Yeah, well, they're very hungry, those sheep. And they poop a lot. Yeah. That's a lot of fertilizer.
They fertilize and lawn mow at the same time, which is an amazing animal.
You're like, I need a few of those.
Yeah. And unlike cows and other bigger animals, their poops are tiny and spread. They're literally fertilizer pellets.
It is amazing how nature works.
Mm-hmm. You'd almost think that the sheep were created to munch on lawns and fertilize them.
Then you shave them once out? How many times a year can you shear the sheep to use the wool to, is it like once a year?
It's a good question. I think it's got to be at least once, but it might be a couple times a year. I don't know.
It's like they are amazing resources. Everybody put your money into sheep. We do not give financial advice.
Get this. They will replicate themselves. How amazing is that?
This is like the best system ever.
Here's the thing that mows your lawn, fertilizes your lawn, replicates itself, and requires no food.
But soon you won't have enough room in your lawn to take care of the amount that you have. But free speech. Come on.
Free speech and sheep. That's our platform right there.
That's all we need in America, man. Free speech and
There's
sheep.
just not enough sheep in America. That's what is keeping this country from being great.
And not teaching people why it is vital to allow vile, hateful, disgusting to some people's speech.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you start down that road, I mean, it's amazing that we're at the point in our country where if you steal from somebody and it's under $1,000 or whatever it is in most jurisdictions that have started doing this, they won't put you in jail. You could hit somebody in the face with a brick. They won't put you in jail. But you say you love Donald Trump. Holy shit, they're ready to put you in jail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like that should teach everybody everything they need to know.
Every country has a government it deserves.
Yeah. The question is, what country is the best? Or give me a list. What are like the top 5? What 5 governments are actually, would you be like, hey, I'd like to live there?
Let's preface this with saying most governments suck,
yes.
Right? Vast majority of the governments suck.
Well, that's what Ted Nugent's been saying for years, which is, yeah, everybody sucks, but we suck less.
Mm-hmm. But used to be true.
And they've moved in the wrong direction.
Yeah, well, clearly the Democrats have been trying to make us suck more.
Well, they want the socialist mindset. They want to punish the big corporations for being successful. They want to punish the individual for being successful because there are still people in this country who are not successful, and that's not fair.
You know, there's one silver lining story that came out recently here that I posted on NoGen Social. I'm sure other people saw it elsewhere as well, is that the Gen Z males, if you want to call them that, are citing and protesting with the Gen Z females demanding abortion be free and available in every state. And as a form of solidarity, these Gen Z males are getting vasectomies. And I think this is a great thing. I'm fully in support of this. I think that there's nothing better that can be done than to sterilize that portion of the population, and voluntarily sterilize, mind you, that is the most detrimental to the future of the United States.
Without a doubt. Because then they will not have any children that they can teach their idiocy.
Exactly.
So they won't be able to pass that down. And then they're like, wait, why are we losing again?
No, this is a great thing. I think that reducing the population is an important goal for that demographic in general. They see the planet as being harmed by a high population. And so they're actually doing something about it, taking a stance. They would prefer to have sex and then aborted children. But if they can't do that, then I guess they're just not going to pass on their genetics.
Whoa, yes. One snip it and rip it. But aren't the men getting vasectomies ruining it for the women who are pro-abortion? Because they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're saying, well, since you can't have an abortion, then I'll make sure that I abort
you can never have kids. And then when these women get to the point to where they're like 25 and like, I want to have a baby.
Well, no, you're not. But that's not what. No. When they're Gen Z generation, when they're that young, any generation's that young. It just happens to be Gen Z right now.
Yeah, but if you sterilize the whole generation and then the chicks start wanting to have kids, then what?
But no. You're missing the point. Is when you're that young, and for most women that are certainly of the liberal mind, but even some not so liberal, they're not thinking about having children. They're like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine having all these rugrats running around. That's crazy. It's not until the hormones kick in their late 20s, early 30s that women tend to.
Yeah, but then they're not going to be able to find a viable.
Thank God they're not going to be able to find some. And if they are, I guarantee you, it ain't going to be one of these soy boys that decided to cut their nuts off.
This is a whole new scheme for you to get younger women again.
Do I really need a new scheme?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. Are the old ones working still? I haven't heard of anything lately going on.
Oh, well, there was something going on recently. I'll tell you off the podcast.
There was something going on.
There's definitely a potential for something at all times.
Well, of course, this is the universe. There's a potential for anything at all times. Taylor Swift will finally be half my age plus 7 on December 13th.
Is she going to get married ever or what?
I don't know.
Is she a lesbian? Come on.
It would be
Did she come out and said she's a lesbian to all you insiders?
She's been dating a guy for a long time. She's always dating
a beard guy.
Very possible. I don't know. I've never gotten the
her and Brittany Grimes look like they're about the same height. So
yeah, Taylor would probably be better in the WNBA though.
It could be. Yeah. She's got less ass to carry around. Although I will say that joke, is starting to get old because her ass has definitely grown.
See, Gene, he keeps very close tabs on these things.
I do keep tabs on her ass, and from the last photos that I've seen of concerts, she's definitely made improvements in that department.
Yeah, the magic number 33 she will be. So that is
half your age. Pretty amazing.
Well, yeah, plus 7.
Sure, why not? Let's pretend.
That's what they say. I don't know. I don't make up these rules. I just follow them on podcasts for educational and entertainment.
You're a rule follower?
Right. Totally.
I always knew that.
I thought that was obvious.
All right. Well, now we got the intro out of the way.
Wait, was that the intro?
That's the intro segment.
That was it. So now let's add a chapter right here. Throw this into the podcasting 2.0 mixer. And everything kind of works. I will tell you, it was good to hear Adam Curry live back on the air yesterday.
Yeah.
On the No Agenda stream. And it was the only podcast you will ever hear where you will hear the podcaster's teeth hitting the desk during the show.
Well, you say that now, but
this might happen to us.
Maybe a year from now or so, I might have similar things. No, I've been talking to Adam about. I want to make sure I get all his insights on his dentist because I don't think my teeth are in horrible shape, but I know for a fact I definitely need to get one, maybe a couple of teeth replaced.
And you need somebody that's good at this. I've learned this.
I need somebody that's good. And that's the biggest problem with dentists is like, how often do you run into somebody that's really had major work done by somebody? I mean, hopefully not very often because most people keep their teeth in well enough shape to not require major work. But when you do need to get something done, you don't want to just pick a random dentist out of the phone book. Phone book for you kids is the internet website, Google, where you type in dentist and it gives you a result based on geographic location.
And sometimes you get lucky and sometimes.
Now, I need to check this. Is there a website just called phonebook.com?
I don't know. If not, they're missing out.
I'm going to punch it in right now.
It's going to go right up there with the Russian prepper supplies. You go to phonebook.com to look up.
Oh my God, it is a god-awful website. Holy shit. Phonebook.com looks like it was created about 20 years ago and never updated.
Which means it probably was.
That is horrible. It has on the bottom, it has a copyright 2020, phonebook.com, incorporated.
Oh, well, at least they're incorporated.
But oh my God, there's literally nothing here. And the graphics are missing. Like, if you... Yeah, their graphics are completely missing. It's a pure text website at this point.
Oh, well, I like pure text. That's better. It's much more efficient. It's like Twitter, what it used to be.
No, you're not understanding. The graphics are missing. They weren't not created. Like they're little placeholders.
Don't you miss the old days where you'd get a little red X where the image should be, but it wasn't? You haven't seen that in a
little
long
red
time.
X.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Back in the day on the web, when the image that tried to call, but it couldn't load it, you just got like a little white box with a red X in it.
I think that depended on the browser you're using.
It could be. It was probably Firefox for me back into the day.
Got it. Yeah. I was probably using something else.
Now it's Brave. Now I've been using the Brave search, and now the Brave search is like, well, we're going to start adding good ads and private ads to the searches.
Yeah, everybody's in the same. You can't make money with that with searches. Let me rephrase that. You can't make money with searches unless you have ads.
Well, you're right. I mean, you have the service. If it's good enough and you can charge people for it, which is also what Brave would like to do. I think they're saying they're going to charge, once this starts with the ads, you can opt out for like $3 a month, which doesn't seem bad. But this is right on down the same rabbit hole that we talked about over on Grumpy Old Ben's.
Mm-hmm.
Your buddy Ryan Bemrose, who was just on your Sir Gene Speaks not too long
ago. Did
he
make a guest appearance on your Grumpy Old Bill show now?
Yeah, he made another guest appearance on Grumpy Old Ben's.
Yeah.
And brought the story that Amazon is firing a bunch of people from the talking tube area there because they're not making any money. The dots and the devices, and I don't want to say the lady's first name because I have one close enough that it would be like,
Alexa, shut down all lights.
Right. See, luckily I have headphones on.
Luckily.
But there are people listening to this now. Yes. They're like, oh, geez, why did it go dark in here? Geez, dick. But because they somehow thought they were going to be able to make money with those devices.
Well, you were supposed to have switched all your ordering to Alexa-based ordering, and you're supposed to say, Alexa, I'm out of eggs. Order me some eggs.
I don't get that. I really don't, because I know there was a big push for this, and it wasn't recent. It was like maybe a year ago, where they were running coupons all the time, like, oh, save 20% or 50% if you place an order through the talking tube.
Right. The prices were different. Yeah.
And what I didn't understand was why anybody would want to do that over opening up their phone, their tablet, or their laptop or desktop to place an order. There's not a big convenience factor there to me for most people. And if there's one caveat, if you're reordering something that you always get, that might be the one time I would use it. But
there used to be a more useful device, I think, which they've now,
the button.
The button was good too. I had those. I had buttons. So I had a whole row of buttons on my refrigerator.
So when you needed to order new stuff,
So when the housekeeper needed to order something, just push on the button, didn't have to say anything.
Oh, wait, that's an interesting thing. I never even thought of allowing somebody else to place the order, but in a way that they were limited to
it only ships
order
to me
and where it can be shipped. Yes.
Exactly. So she could like reorder all this stuff, and the buttons work great. And then they also sent me a barcode scanner that if I scan something would then automatically be ordered on Amazon as well.
So and I don't know. I think out your can of soup and I
don't even know if I was in the trial program for that or if that was a thing that everybody had access to.
I never saw that.
Okay, well, I had one of those. I had an Amazon barcode scanner, and so that worked fine. Got to reorder detergent. You scan your old container of empty container detergent, and it gives you a little blip confirming that it's going to put the order in. You hit the button, and you're good to go.
Right, consumables. Now, with a lot of this, they have their subscribe and save, which is good because you save money.
So I used to do that a lot. I stopped doing that because more often than not, I found that they were out of stock on things when I needed them.
Oh yeah, lately, since COVID, it's been horrible.
And so at this point, I'm going to actually do a search and see who's got it in stock before I just automatically order it from the same source.
Right, or you might, I use it for my parents because they take a few different supplements, and how many they take a day, so it's very easy to set it up where it's like, I know when you're going to need more. But yes, when it's out of stock, Amazon I know they'll give you a pop-up, but I rarely pay attention where, the Now brand course in it is not in stock. Would you like to choose something else? And
right.
You don't. And that's a pain in the ass. But
well, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Well, it depends. Like when I buy the Big Red Cups, there's the official Big Red Cup brand that started the whole trend.
Solo?
Yeah, Solo. And then there's like 25 different knockoffs.
Right, because they're like, a lot of people seem to like plastic red cups.
I like them. They're good.
Now, the other thing that you have in that same vein now, and I know I'm an asshole because I bought one of these machines and I hooked it up to an app on my phone because, again, I don't listen to Grumpy Old Ben's or anybody that says don't do apps. But the new Keurig machine, the coffee machine that I have, there are some coffees that have the little QR code on them.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them don't. But for the ones that do, I'm assuming are the Keurig brand.
Right.
Because they now have the thing, if you want to opt in and buy the coffee from them, it knows exactly how many you're drinking, so it knows when to reorder them.
Oh, that's great.
Which the convenience factor is fantastic. The privacy factor is still a little weird.
What do you give a shit how many people know how much coffee you drink?
I don't.
Okay.
But some people are weird
there
about
is a
that.
zealotry there in the information security people world about having no information about anything be publicly available. And I think that's stupid. There is a very legitimate concern there for providing information publicly available, but
that you control.
There are plenty of that. Well, you should control it all, but it doesn't mean you should block it all.
Right.
And there are plenty of things like the amount of coffee you're drinking or the amount of iced tea that I'm drinking that
14
really does
gallons
not
a day.
matter. Yeah, it's nowhere near that. No, I mean, I think I've said about this. I probably drink a gallon of tea a day. It's there's no sugar in there, so it's not negatively impacting my diabetes or my tooth health at all. But I enjoy tea, and so I drink a lot of iced tea. And in the winter, I drink a lot of hot tea. Now, right now, you would think it's winter, but it is 80 degrees outside right now in Austin, Texas. So
Not here.
It's still iced tea weather here.
Nice.
Yeah, it must be all that man-made global warming that Europe is causing.
Very possibly. And the iced tea is it's better than drinking water. I mean, unless you have an issue with the caffeine and you're overdoing or that.
Yeah, and there's some caffeine, but clearly not much, because whenever I've had caffeinated coffee.
Well, you're the guy that just ate like 14 pounds of chocolate-covered coffee beans and couldn't figure out why. When did you sleep? I mean, how many days was that?
It took a week. I didn't sleep for a week straight, and then eventually I fell asleep and slept for a full day.
I believe it.
Yeah.
If there was really a week without good sleep, you're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Residual.
At least a week.
Nice. That was the residual effects, but they were delicious coffee beans, I'm sure.
Oh, they were super delicious. Coffee brand coffee, 5% off if you use a discount called Sir Gene. Sir Gene gets you 5% off. Go use it right now.
We don't have ads on the note.
Luckily, there are no ads on any of my podcasts.
You just recommend people go to certain websites and use coupon codes. Totally not an ad.
No, I mean, I'm just telling people if you want coffee beans that'll keep you awake for a full week.
I mean, that's not
the place to get them.
That's not what they recommend you use it for, mind you. That seems like you might be telling people to drug
You're saying
themselves.
It's off-label use?
Yes, very much so, off-label use.
Yes, no medical advice given here.
It was like when Balls came out, when all the gamers and then people started dropping dead after being up by, like 2 or 3 days straight gaming because they were drinking all these energy drinks loaded.
I don't think it was the gaming that was killing people.
No, I would agree. It was probably the staying up for 4 days straight while pounding random energy drinks.
Yeah. Well, you should know what's in your energy drink.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah. Yeah. And there is such thing as excess taurine.
I miss having the brain tonic. It was something Kevin Rose, I think, talked about way back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That stuff was actually pretty tasty, and it did seem to give a little boost without allegedly any of the bad stuff. I think it was all like
vitamin B.
Yeah, it was like what? Vitamin B and ginseng and some other stuff, but it actually tasted good.
Yes,
and it
makes your brain hard.
Well, it allegedly it was made your brain just hard in a not a You're not talking in a physical manner of hard as much as an emotional state. It gave your brain a Woody, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I
think that was their tagline, not mine.
Your brain a Woody.
It's makes your brain hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that would scare people. I don't think you want hard brain.
Well, not for a prolonged period of time. I mean, eventually you want it to kind of soften up again.
Yeah, you want to relax.
And it's like that would be an issue if you have 24 hours of hard brain.
Right. You just want to relax.
Because everybody knows where men think.
Yeah. You want to just have a PB&J and relax.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I hear
But,
you.
you know, if the female in your life wants to help you with your hard brain, then more power to her.
Yeah, well, that's what they're for.
The females.
Right.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Thought that part was
Darren
obvious.
at unrelenting.show.
Yes. I'd reach on out. I'd love to hear from all the females out there or the males who need help. I mean, we are here to give advice, but nothing legally binding.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
What would be the best way to cover a window that is causing light to come through? I have blinds already on the window. Okay. And the blinds have the little cutouts for the string that is holding them up. And there's light coming through these little cutouts.
Oh, so it's they're shades rather than blinds, but where the string is going up, there's little bolts of light coming through the little.
Yeah. Into my face. And especially when I'm trying to record a video program and my face is on camera with little bits of light on there. And I've literally gone completely white trash on this and just put a U-Haul box in front of the window. But I feel like my neighbors might be pissed off about seeing a U-Haul box in my window.
Foil. I mean, because
it may lower my house
lower
value.
The property value.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy's cooking meth or something over here.
What the hell is this shit? The house is just super warm. There's carbon dioxide leaking from inside the house. The electrical bill is really high because of some reason. And the windows are covered up with U-Haul boxes.
You might just want to get a better brand of the shades, because I don't think we have that problem with ours.
No, really.
It might just be that those things weren't made really well.
I thought they were all made like that. Don't they all have a little cutout for the string in the middle? Or there's two cutouts per blind, one on each side, I guess. But
because the string can go inside of, is it a honeycomb or is it just a pleated shade? Because the honeycomb one,
no, these are blinds, dude. They're like little pieces of wood that can be turned.
Oh, so these are just vertical blinds. Well, then get shades, baby. That's always going to happen.
Shades look totally white trash.
No, shades are better.
Yeah, for white trash.
They're just white on the back. It's great. Your neighbors won't be offended. It'll keep all of the stuff up. Yeah, if you have,
I don't know, man. The U-Haul boxes might be less offensive than that.
Well, why don't you just upgrade the box? We'll go with Amazon box, or tell you what, call up somebody like Perrier and see if they can send you a few unused cases or even bent up boxes that they use to ship their product, or maybe from your favorite whiskey, you can see if somebody can send you
a whiskey box.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I know what the sort of the proper solution here is to then simply get what do you call them? The thing you hang over the window, the
thing
curtains to get curtains.
Yes, well, curtains over
the shades.
The blinds would also help. Yeah.
But because the curtains you couldn't see from the outside because they're inside. So maybe, maybe that's what I need to do.
Now, is this a large opening? Is it just a window or is it
it's my office window. I mean, it's actually two windows in my office. They're not particularly large. So literally the sad part is I already have curtains. I just don't have a curtain rod.
Ooh,
maybe I just need to buy a curtain rod and be done with it.
Yeah. See, Brooklyn says black garbage bags. That's where I would go.
Oh, black garbage bags, of course. Oh my God, that is such the best solution ever.
Yeah, that on one of the windows, and then the U-Haul box on the other, and then tinfoil on some of the other windows, and just don't talk to the neighbors when you see them either. Just act strangely.
Well, that part's already done, so that's easy enough.
They're like, there's this guy he's got a really long beard, and he's very strange. We're worried that he's bringing weird things into our neighborhood.
Completely weird.
There's cars coming all times, all day, all night. There's a big snake. They see the snake.
They don't see the snake. That's a different set of windows.
No, that's too bad. Because otherwise I would make sure the snake was crawling right in front of the window.
Yeah. Well, some people might think that that's cute.
Well, it's better than cooking meth. Maybe. It all depends if they're afraid of snakes, I guess.
Here's the sad part. I think the percentage of snake ownership amongst people that cook meth probably higher than average.
Okay, I have not done that survey. So, I mean, that...
I'm just saying, well, certainly amongst the population of...
people that use meth?
People that sell meth, snake ownership is a higher percentage.
Sir Gene does like to show his snake in the window, but that has nothing to do with his reptiles.
Oh.
Hey-o! That's a
right.
completely different call to the local authority.
Yes. Well, good. Now we're done with the first segment of the show.
You just need shades. You need a nice. So
what's going on in Chicago? We haven't talked about Chicago for a while.
God, Chicago sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 40 degrees and raining today. It's beautiful. We had 2 toilets replaced this week. That was fun. $588 for a plumber.
Holy cow. That's for 1 hour.
It took an hour and 50 minutes. 2 guys, 2 toilets.
Oh, that's not that bad then. So it's 4 hours of man time.
Yes. Which it
for
could be
$500.
Yeah, it was
$125 an hour. So kids, when the question comes to, do you want to be an English major and go to college? Or you want to be a plumber and make $125 an hour?
Yeah, go for plumber. Because you're always going to need plumbers. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of Chinese people out there. And when China runs this country, they're going to need plumbers.
And when we got the estimate, the guy said, it'll be between $488 and $588. So, of course, it was $588. But I pulled out $500 cash.
Yep.
And when he's like $588, I'm like, I got $500 cash. Otherwise, I'm going to have to use a credit card. Oh, credit card's fine. Like, I don't know. I would have taken the cash and ran.
No, hell no. Why would you do that? Credit card, you only lose 3%. You were trying to knock off $85.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, this all depends on, I understand the credit card fees are about 3%, but we also know what happens when service industry folk take cash that always doesn't make it to the, allegedly to the bottom line.
So you're trying to set this guy up for
right. No, I don't know.
IRS
Hey,
fraud.
I don't know what he's doing after he takes the money.
Yeah. Well, he's fine with the credit card, clearly.
I was just offering a different idea.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And for everybody wondering, Darren's got $500 in cash at his house. Just, clearly. No, he said that publicly.
Then I went out for Mexican last night, so now it's more like
$500.
I've got about 400 and it's like, that's it. It's like that's the little.
Well, Darren, here's your problem. You wouldn't have needed to get 2 toilets fixed if you didn't keep going to Mexican food.
Right. That's probably true.
Uh-huh.
That is. The wife wanted to change these things since we moved into the house, which was in like
62.
2008, I think we moved in here.
Uh-huh.
And it finally had to get done. So it's
Did you get the fancy toilets with the electronic controls?
No. That's what I'm like, why didn't you go for the bidets? Wait. Go for the full. She's like, you know how much that is? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, you got to do that. And then also, you got to have a toilet that's controlled by your iPhone.
Right. That would be a much better way to go. I know that these toilets have been sitting here for months because she got them on... I don't remember what
Christmas sale.
It might have been, but it wasn't even like this Christmas. It wasn't like last. It wasn't like last. It was sometime earlier this year that
4th
Home
of July
Depot
sale.
Maybe like Home Depot had these Kohler one piece.
Yeah.
Comfort.
Oh, you got the one piece toilet.
Yeah,
fancy.
That's what I said. Very fancy.
These are not. Yeah, and that's a stupid idea. You really don't need one piece toilet.
I know, but this again wasn't my decision.
Right.
And they were on sale for like 60% off. Or it was something crazy to where I think we got the toilets for like $200.
Are they at least high pressure toilets?
They do really. I don't know what they're sold as, but they flush well. So there is that.
Okay. All right.
They're not like some of these where it's like, flush 14 times if you did any more than a tinkle.
Right. There's a that I don't know what they're technically called. I don't have one of these in my house, but a buddy of mine had it when he put it in a toilet. It's a high pressure toilet, so it's more. It sounds and acts a lot more like a toilet in an airplane.
Oh, nice.
So when you flush, it just sucks everything in instantly, super fast. And then there's a high speed stream of water going down the toilet instead of this like little slow drizzle around the toilet outside, which most toilets seem to have. And he's like, yeah, it's the best toilet you can get. This thing's awesome. I'm like, well, that's impressive, I guess. But I mean, no.
As impressive as a toilet can be.
Yeah, it is. And I guess, instead of hooking up a little tiny water line to the toilet, you're hooking up the full potential of the water pressure of the house directly to the toilet to just evacuate whatever needs to get evacuated out of it.
Yeah, and our water pressure in our house sucks. And I need to...
you need your own water tower is what you need.
Kind of. We had a plumber for a while before he retired that said maybe the line coming in, was supposed to be like a 3/4 and it's only a half or something. Because, this is like something that you would have figured you would have like 100 years ago, which is if you're running the shower and then you turn on the dishwasher or anything else, you can feel the drop in pressure, which is like, that's not good. And I know there's things they can put in to artificially try to pressurize the lines. But I think the real answer would be to just put a new main line coming in. And I'm sure that would be a pain in the ass.
Cost you more than $500.
So, yeah, that's fun. And I'm sure the reason why this toilet experience was at the higher end was they had to get power toys and break one of the toilets to get it off. So I don't know what was going on there, but and having them carried out of the house by somebody else is probably worth $100 or so on its own.
That's true.
And not having it leak, and because that's the problem. It's like, okay, the concept of putting them in is not that
it's super
hard.
simple. I've done it before.
But if you fuck something up, the price is going to be more than it would have been to have the guy put it in. Because now,
hard to fuck up.
Yeah, you say that, but you've never seen me do home improvement projects.
Okay, well, yeah, they're a fairly basic concept.
As long as you get it down on the seal, and and that was the other thing we were worried about, because last year, like the day before Christmas Eve, the toilet downstairs here, which is on the sub floor. So it's not a complete, it's a half floor underground. So it's on the concrete floor. The flange that was on the floor finally snapped. It was not stainless steel. It was whatever the crap was that was down there. So they had to come in and redo that, which was a pain in the ass. But I was worried that with these two, it was going to be the same problem. So if you have to go in and pull out the old flanges, which are underneath tire, I'm like, it's a little easier to let somebody else do it. And then, the beauty is if the toilet starts leaking in a week or two,
you call somebody.
Yeah, you call the guy back and go, come back and fix this, dude. I don't like doing it's one that it's
physical labor, you were going to say.
Right. I
don't like doing physical or labor work. No,
I do not like doing, I'm a podcaster. I've been podcasting for too long. Yeah. When I have to pick up my coffee cup, I'm like, oh, Jesus, I need to pick. This is really hard to sip on this. I'm used to just talking, and that is about it.
Your mouth is your tool.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. That's how you make a living, with your mouth.
That's what she said. I don't know. But that was basically the amount of fun going on in Chicago.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's a good update.
We have new toilets. When I told that to Bemrose on...
I need to order food.
On Grumpy Old Ben's, he's like, did you get did you add 2 toilets to the house? I'm like, no, we replaced 2. He's like, toilets don't wear out. I'm like, well, no, they don't technically wear out. But my wife's been wanting these. And, then, of course, once you had them, and her brother and her dad, the one day after they went and picked them up at Home Depot and then just put them in the spare bedroom up here, which I'm like, that's it. If you want to talk about your house looking like white trash, Gene, for a long time, I had a bedroom filled with a bunch of Lego models and 2 toilets just sitting in the corner. So,
Jesus Christ.
That is white trash 101. But I figured once they were in the house, there's no way getting around it. And she had been refusing in the toilet in the main bathroom upstairs. And again, if I don't have to do plumbing, I'm not going to do it. But basically, when you would hit the flusher, it was so rusted or something that once you pushed it down, it just wouldn't go back on its own. It would.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, it was time. And I don't know exactly what the quality of the water we have out here, but we're in a town that when we first moved in here into a townhouse just right down the road, when we moved in back in whatever it was, 95, they didn't have Chicago City water yet.
Really?
So
wow.
it was still going where you needed the water softener and that whole bit. And even though there's been the city water out of Lake Michigan now for well over a decade or so, the amount of rust that still comes in through the pipes is alarming. You definitely don't want to drink the water without multiple water filters and that kind of stuff.
Well, I wouldn't want to drink water coming out of a faucet regardless of where I am.
No, not if, I mean, I don't mind it if it's going like our fridge.
Not these
goes
days.
through the
I mean, when
filter.
I was a kid, I drank it out
through
of the garden hose.
Right? Well,
yeah, that's what it's for. We had good water when I was a kid.
Got to be filtered, man.
Yeah,
there's
apparently these days.
Yeah, there's too much bad crap in the water.
You know, back when I was a kid, like
1920,
nobody was polluting anything.
Well, yeah, but you didn't even have gasoline engines yet.
So what? But there was no pollution to have to worry about, unlike these days. I got a topic changing question for you. How old is Britney Spears?
Britney Spears would be about 45.
That's pretty good looking for 45.
That's about my guess, I think.
She just married a 28-year-old guy.
Uh-oh, is Britney off the rails again?
No. Why would you say that?
Because she's been off the rails in the past. I mean, I don't know exactly what her mental state is, but that's always been the whole deal with her family not wanting her to have access to her own money.
Leeches.
Oh, obviously.
Blood-sucking vampire leeches.
You know, it's really sad when I type in Britney in Google, the first thing that comes up is Britney Griner and then Britney Spears.
Very sad because Britney Spears is always going to be the Britney.
Amen. Amen. She was born in 81, so she's 41. I was close. I said 45.
41. Okay. All right. But
she
yeah,
keeps herself in shape.
She does. I mean, yeah. I wonder if she's going to be in less shape moving forward.
Maybe. I mean, she's over 40 now. So, I mean, to your normal scale, that's going downhill.
Oh, she's a grandmother now. She's grandmotherly age. Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I'm pretty sure I was working at Circuit City the first time when on all the TVs, Britney in the schoolgirl outfit in that.
Oh, baby.
Was it Ooh Baby Baby or Oops I Did? Yeah, Ooh Baby, whatever the song was.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like, whoa.
Like they're showing this at Circuit City. Whoa! I'm going to play this all day long.
This is a way
I'm going to go home and play all day, all night long
with my joystick. It is going to be the best way to sell television sets they ever invented.
Oh, Britney sold so much stuff without even getting paid for it. No
question about it. No question. But she's like the original pop diva.
Slave. Yeah. She was created. She was not born. They created a product, her parents, I mean, and then utilized that product to make themselves millionaires before she was at the age of consent. And then when that funnel started dribbling and drying up, they decided to enslave her legally. And so for the last 13 years, they were once again making oodles of money off of her.
Yeah, just another girl going through the Disney system.
Disney is like the worst possible way to, I mean, they're just evil. There's no other two ways to describe them. Disney's evil.
No argument there.
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera started there. Britney.
Yeah.
I mean, then you have the ones that not even the singers, but then there's a lot that were involved with the Disney television shows on the Disney network. It never seems to go well for some reason.
No, well, a company built on pedophilia just seems to be a bad place to put your kids.
I still have a poster somewhere of Christina Aguilera signed from her debut album. I should pull that out. I don't know if I don't think her signature has gone into the Taylor Swift stratosphere. which is unfortunate because I would love to turn that into.
You'd love to sell it?
Yeah, I'd love to sell that into, a grant. Hey, the Taylor Swift lithographs that there was one that I bought for $200. Now they're selling for like well over $1,000. I got one that was a Peter Max, an artist. He did a couple of different.
Yeah, I know Peter Max is.
He did a Taylor Swift series, and really? I've got one of them that is signed by Peter Max and by Taylor Swift, and there were 4 different ones, but one I don't think it was the one that I had, but there was one of those 4 sold recently on eBay for $3,000, and I'm pretty sure when they were new, they were like $200. They're oversized posters. I mean, they're probably like maybe 3 foot by 3 foot. So it's a larger square poster, but it's like, okay, $200 turns into $3,000 in about 8 to 10 years. Taylor autographs, very expensive. If you have some sitting around, put them up on eBay.
Yeah. Well, you got to have a few.
Yeah, I've got, I've probably got about 30 different signed CDs and then vinyl.
Gee, do you really now?
Yeah, believe it or not.
So you heard it here. No money needed for this podcast.
Hey, I bought them all when they were like $15-$20 a piece.
Exactly. And now you can sell them all for thousands and thousands of dollars.
Not the CDs. They're still going for like maybe $80. Which isn't bad when you bought them for 20. I mean, comparing to what I bought Bitcoin at or Cardano.
Oh, don't remind me.
That's still not. That's not turning into
even with the averaging of buying Bitcoin after it's gone down. I'm still upside down.
Wow. So it's just, you are totally losing. You were not able to capitalize on the big jump.
Well, I mean, I never sell it, right? I only buy it, but I started buying when it was 50 something.
$50 or 5,000?
50,000.
Oh, you started buying when it was at 50,000.
Yeah.
There's your problem.
Yeah, that is a problem. So that's why I'm saying is that, and I buy every week, but it's still, even at the current 16,000-ish or so rate, I'm still upside down because, it's all average.
And I love the articles on all of the crypto. That's like, hey, will Bitcoin hit 100,000? Will Sheeb hit $2?
I think the articles are mostly, will Bitcoin hit 20,000?
Maybe. That's will Bitcoin go down to 10,000 or 5,000?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's always got the same problem, or it still has the same problem it's always had, which is it's a collector's coin. It's not a regular, replacement for fiat that you can use anywhere.
It's moving a little bit in that direction, but not enough as of yet.
There is some availability, but again, you can't have money, regardless of whether it's Bitcoin or it's government issued, that is worth a different amount every week.
Oh, I agree.
That's the problem. And this is why it couldn't simply be a replacement for regular fiat money, is because there's too much volatility, and volatility kills all currency. Every country that's had massive inflation is an example of why volatility kills that particular money. It's a cycle. The more volatility you have, the less people are going to trust using that money. The less use of that particular money, the more volatility it's going to experience.
I am still pissed off that when Bitcoin cratered to 3,800, I was like, should I buy one? And my wife, yeah, go ahead. And then I'm like, It's like, so yeah, everybody's like, oh, it's down to like 16. It's like, but if you would have bought it at 4.
If you keep describing your wife as this ideal wife that like is completely agreeable at all times and lets you fuck Playboy models and is okay with buying, Bitcoin, all these things, people are going to stop believing you're married.
She doesn't cook. So, I mean, let's just put that out there. At all.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's one notch from ideal. Right. It's still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I was going to order food. I keep forgetting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what is the price of a beef tenderloin in Austin today?
I don't know that it's changed a whole lot.
We need an up-to-date price.
Yeah,
that's what people come to expect.
I'm gonna, I'm not getting groceries. I'm just gonna order lunch. I haven't ordered lunch for a while. I've been cooking for like the last week and a half.
Yeah, like I said, I went out for Mexican yesterday. It was like the first time in weeks. Normally just eat here because the air fryer is like magic.
It is kind of.
And I love when we get, and they've had them fairly consistently lately, the shish kebabs at our local grocery store, especially the ones now that are bourbon-infused steak shish kebabs.
Mm-hmm.
It is the easiest thing because they cook in like 12 minutes. You're done. You add a little vegetable on the side if you want, but you don't really even have to. And it's just easy. And it's relatively healthy by comparison of having a lot of this processed stuff. Although we did buy a ham too. I'm not a big ham.
Like a big full ham thing?
Yeah, because obviously the grocery stores here must have ordered way too much ham thinking people were going to go ham crazy for Thanksgiving because remember, I'm guessing this is all just speculation, but remember turkeys were going to be like $5,000 a pound. So you want a cheaper.
I mean, they're not?
Not exactly. I mean, they were more, but the turkey wasn't highly inflated. It was inflated, but it wasn't crazy. And we ordered it already cooked, so that was even better. When we just picked up the catering on Thanksgiving, but the hams were all on sale for like 69 to 89 cents a pound. So the wife went in and picked out a 10-pound ham for $7.80.
Okay.
Which is hard to beat, considering they were selling ham lunch meat like a week ago for $8 a pound. You get a whole ham, baby, for under $8.
That's not bad. So, well, that's not a whole ham, though.
No, it's just it's not like a whole pig, but it's a whole 10-pound ham.
Wait, so how much did it cost you?
$8 under $7.80 something cents.
$8 for 10 pounds? 80 cents a pound? That's not ham.
That's a cooked ham, baby.
I'm pretty sure you got dog meat.
No, believe it or not. There was all the hams, multiple brands. I'm like, what the hell, man? They had to order way too much ham, or there was way too much ham produced. I don't know what, why, or how. I don't question these things.
I do. I would not trust something like that. And I encourage everybody else to not trust things that are too good to be true. And ham for under $1 a pound is highly, highly suspicious.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is, but it's just not ham. That's all.
I mean, it is a brand of Smithfield Foods, which we know is...
Is this like ham made out of tails?
No,
it's all like pigtails shrunk together?
No, it's a whole ham, baby. I'm sure it is. Now that I know it's part of Smithfield, it's probably questionable because that's a Chinese-owned company.
It is?
It's probably Smithfield
No,
Chinese.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Come on. When COVID started, when they hit the whole Smithfield plant, wherever in Minnesota or wherever it was, they are Chinese-owned.
Did not know that.
It is a cook's fully
I buy
cooked
ham,
butt.
and it is sold at $10 a pound.
Well, you're wrong, man.
No, I'm not. I literally buy it every week.
It is
I buy a pound of ham, and it's $10.
79 cents a pound. Cook's fully cooked
ham,
bone-in portion ham. I'm even going to put the link in the troll room, and I'll put the link. I can't really.
Yes, I recommend nobody buy that ham on the troll room because you're liable to not be alive if you do.
Well, if I die right after eating the ham, then you can laugh.
If you die after eating the ham, we're not going to have a show. That's not really a laughing matter.
You're like, now who am I going to talk to?
But you do eat Mexican food, so maybe your stomach is used to this.
Could be. I like a good steak and chorizo burrito. Avoid all Smithfield products. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, Smithfield is like the Netflix of the food industry.
I did not know that Cook's was a part of Smithfield. This is the problem with all the brands within the brands.
I would
within
avoid
the
all
brands.
grocery stores in Chicago because they're all owned by Chinese people.
Everything's owned by the Chinese people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the stream loses like 80% of its shows if I go down.
Yeah, exactly. So that's you're playing a dangerous game here.
You're playing a dangerous game with the Chinese
79
ham.
cents a pound. That is absolutely insane.
I mean, I'm surprised she didn't go along with the Meyer brand, although I don't know who makes the Meyer brand, probably Smithfield, because that's the same thing. That's 89 cents a pound. The Meyer bone-in spiral sliced ham.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I think they just bought way too much
hams.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, it's not out of the question, that's for sure.
No.
But
what did you order for lunch, though? Something good? Something healthy?
Yeah, I got something I haven't had in a while, and it's my favorite. I got some halal food from Halal Brothers. I got some really good Palestinian chicken.
Well, that sounds delightful.
Oh, it's really good. I love that stuff. Alrighty. And here I'm going to, I see you sent me a thing here.
Yeah, that's a link to the ham.
Okay. And I'm going to send you a photograph.
Oh, God. Widow Garrett on No Agenda Social wants to know if we remember Britney's skirt being plaid or black.
Definitely was plaid.
She's like, it's one of those memory tricks. All the images now are of a black skirt. I remember plaid. I remember plaid as well. Now I have to look up
I
this
definitely
video.
remember plaid. Are you kidding? The skirt was black?
That's what the claim is. And I could see that. You know, and it may just be because you're so used to the Catholic schoolgirl uniform.
Yeah, so it was a black skirt. You don't say.
Britney Spears. Was that Oops, I Did It Again, right? That was the...
yeah, that was the one.
See.
God damn, this is not working.
Your video of running is not working?
Yeah, my monitor is too fast. That's the problem.
Oh, no, it wasn't Oops, I Did It Again.
No, it had to be the one before that.
What's the name of that song? See, that also shows you what we really took from the song was nothing about the lyrics to the song. Maybe
it was
one more
Britney
time.
with pigtails.
And it was Hit Me Baby One More Time. I mean, that seemed
baby,
very... Yeah, I know.
So not right.
Right, no.
That's just not right. I have to look it up now.
Let's see here. We're seeing the school. She's got the little sweater on.
Was that plaid?
No, they're black. Okay, yeah.
Really? So our memory's wrong.
It's mainly because of
it's
that's
a black
what you're
skirt
used to.
with long kind of socks, stockings, things, whatever you want to call them.
Exactly. And I don't know why, because that would be a different...
Was there a different video where she was wearing a plaid skirt?
You think they redid the whole thing, or that you're just thinking of...
No. There had to be another image of Britney wearing plaid then that we're thinking of.
Anything's possible. But this is kind of like when you ask people what color the A-Team van was. And most
it was
people,
black, right?
Well, the top was gray. The bottom was black.
Okay.
Where most people would swear it was black up and down.
Uh-huh.
But it's not. People forget that.
Oh, my gosh. Interesting. So Britney did not wear plaid, but Ariana Grande did wear plaid.
Ah.
Yeah.
The Mandela effect.
Yeah.
There are videos about this on YouTube as well, which is not a surprise.
About the Ariana Grande wearing plaid?
No, about Britney and everybody remembering that the skirt was plaid rather than black. But I think, it's probably also because every girl that dressed as Britney Spears for Halloween in that outfit from then on
plaid skirt.
Wore the plaid skirt.
I do have a photo of Britney wearing a plaid skirt that is a high school skirt, but that's a paid photo, so that would not be something that was publicly visible.
Oh, she just sent that directly to you?
Well, it's autographed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, so you give me a hassle about having Taylor Swift autograph stuff, but you have Britney Spears autograph stuff.
Wait, did I say that out loud?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Your secret is safe with everybody listening, which is
Perfect.
like
which is nobody.
3 or 4 people. So.
Awesome. And you'll cut this portion out of the podcast. So
Yes.
it's just the people on the live stream. So nobody. Perfect.
Right. Absolutely
right.
nobody.
Good. That works.
Nobody will remember.
Mm-hmm.
But that is interesting. And that happens, I think, more times than not, is that you just remember something in a different way. It shows that our memories are not hard drives. They are not perfect, and things will get mixed up. They'll get
like I said, my hard drive does have a photo of her in a plaid skirt, so I know what you're talking about.
I'm sure there's plenty of those. She would have made a lot more money. Oh, now there's a link that the Widow Garrett just posted to a Vogue article where, Britney redoing that outfit with a plaid skirt. And it's like, this is why. Because everybody thinks it's like, because when you think, I have never seen, and I went to an all-boys Catholic school.
Of course you did.
As I mentioned. And it wasn't the reason I picked it mainly, or maybe it was, that it was a little bit further away. There were really 2 main choices that I had. And the one that was a little bit closer is where most people went to, because, well, it was closer. The school I went to was a little bit further away, and it had a sister school, which was like the most popular all-girls school from our area. I may have told this story before.
No, I don't think so.
Where the bus, and it was like a 25-minute bus ride from where I live, maybe 30 minutes by the time I was picked up and then got to school. And on our bus, and what does a normal school bus fit? Like 80 kids or so?
Not that many.
It's 50, 60. How many kids is this? There's
probably 50-ish.
Let's see. School bus capacity. How do we not know these things? They always said, like, if there are any more, how many seats are there in a school bus? You can find anything on the internet, I tell you.
There's 12 rows.
It says the maximum seating capacity of a standard school bus is 72 passengers.
Okay. Well, that's not what they actually use, though.
I think it about is for these, because there's 15, 10 for the little, I think that is what the seating capacity was. So let's just say 72.
Okay.
On the school bus, and they were filled. There were 5 guys on the bus to 68 girls.
Oh, awesome.
Or 67.
What was the point of having separate schools if you had the same school bus?
I don't know. But that the buses are what brought you in, but that made the bus ride way more interesting. But I would
think so, yeah.
They were plaid skirts. I can guarantee you they were plaid skirts.
Yeah, they always were. That's what they were in Ireland, too.
Never black. Never a solid black skirt. So why was that chosen?
It's all black skirt. Yeah. Probably to not offend Catholics.
That could be. Although I don't know if that's necessarily just a Catholic thing, the plaid skirt. But it was an interesting ride back and forth. I mean, I just thought that was way, if you're going to have to choose, you could either be on a bus with like 60, 70 guys. It's like, no. And there were times there were like 2 or 3 guys on the bus. And that was like.
So I was right. Yeah. Conventional school bus has 13 rows. I said 12. So it's 13.
13. So that's times 4.
13 rows. So you had 4 kids per row. So 4 times 13. So that's 52.
It seemed larger than that. Are you sure?
Well, their theoretical capacity is 3 kids per seat, but nobody ever sat 3 seats. No, you had 2, and at 13 rows,
unless you had 2 Catholic 4 high school girls sitting on my lap, and that would have been a lot more fun.
That's not a seat; that's a lap.
Congratulations.
So the theoretical capacity might be 72, but the actual capacity is 52.
How many seats on a school bus? These are the kind of topics that you will not hear hashed out.
Good luck finding that out
in any other forum.
And incidentally, you could barely get 1 adult per seat.
Well, that's probably true too.
Because they have 16-inch gaps between rows, which is not big enough for your legs.
No, and there was a story about a guy.
I'm surprised that was big enough for your legs when you were in school.
You kind of had to sit either sideways.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Or you had to sit on the aisle and your knees went into the...
oh, my God. That's so safe.
I know, isn't it? What can go wrong?
Yeah.
Nobody's ever questioned. I don't know. Is it different now? Are there seatbelts and shit on school buses?
Yes, there are.
It's like, no.
No, we didn't have seatbelts. Fuck that shit.
No, we did not.
Do you remember the drills of jumping out the back of the bus?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Or in my case, the horse-drawn carriage.
It says the Type D buses can carry up to 90 passengers.
Uh-huh. Good luck.
Well, yeah, that's like trying to fit 14 clowns into a Volkswagen. I get it.
Uh-huh.
I get it. But it just made it more fun. But there was a story of a guy that was on an airplane and people were like, oh, what a dick. He didn't buy extra leg room and the guy in front of him couldn't recline. It's like, fuck you. That's me on every airplane I go on. And
well, you are kind of a dick for not giving the guy in front of you room to recline.
Yeah. But it's like, you know what? Have more fucking room on the planes where people can actually have leg room.
First class, which is what you ought to be flying with your gigantic, enormous legs.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I wouldn't let anybody over 6 feet fly in planes, frankly.
There you go.
Pay for first.
Well, see, but here's the thing. Then the airlines should be required to give people enough room to fit in the seats. And
okay, so that means fat dudes ought to get free first class tickets, right?
Well, free.
Because you're too wide.
I thought that was exactly the system you've been working on for years.
No, I've paid for every flight I've been on for first.
The concept is you can't really change your height.
Or your width.
Well, you can change your width.
Not really.
You kind of
Yeah,
can.
not if you're big boned.
That's my mom always said, I wasn't fat, I was big boned. I get it. But it's like, this is an issue. And well, to be fair, it wasn't an issue with legroom.
Back in the olden days?
Well, exactly. Because they keep shrinking.
Because you were shorter back then. I get it.
No, even when I was this height, when you'd fly, I mean, it was not extremely comfortable. It's not like you could kick your shoes off and dangle your feet. But there was enough room for your knees to fit where there is not now. And if they know they are condensing these things to the point to where you don't have enough room, then I think the airlines, it would only be fair to give people, and they have a few exit rows. And the reality is the airlines would not lose a lot of money. It doesn't even, it seems like we're moving away from first class. I know you said you fly American a lot, and I thought we talked about American like cutting out first class.
Well, you brought that up. I haven't seen that actually happening. Which
is good. I mean, I think they should have it, but who knows? I mean, it takes a while for them to retrofit the planes and all that. But the reality is they can have a few rows on every plane.
Well, and by the way, I could totally understand why they would want to get rid of first class, because generally I am the only person in first that actually bought a first class ticket.
Right. So it's not making them money.
Everybody else is upgraded to first.
Which is
because
not making
their status.
Them money.
But also, I think that is still a valid thing because, you got to give people something for their status. Otherwise, you'll have no loyalty to airlines.
Right. So you give them that little extra comfort.
Yeah,
it's
you give them that little extra comfort. Exactly.
And
I hate it when people do this. Well, you clearly have like a husband that flies everywhere, and then they decide to take a family trip, and he upgrades his entire family to first class.
You're like, what are you doing?
Why are there children in first? What the fuck is wrong with you? Come on.
You should have a minimum height, just like a Disney ride.
Yes, minimum and maximum, frankly. I would say nobody over 6 feet, nobody under 5 feet.
You have a very specific airline you're looking to create.
Yes, it's called Geneair.
We have to work on the marketing.
Geneair Airlines. We're the best airline out there for people between 5 and 6 feet tall.
Where we're only flying jeans.
Oh, that would be even better.
That's like, what's your first name? If your name's not Gene, you don't even.
Yes, we're going to seat people alphabetically.
Exactly. It's a great concept.
Too funny. Yes.
But if they're going to get rid of first class, like all you have to do is have a few rows, because we know the reality is there's only a certain percentage of people, although I think people are getting larger, taller, not fatter, but just taller. And as this continues to happen,
they're getting larger too. Right now, over 70% of Americans are fat.
But as a service industry, people cannot control their height. I mean, to a certain extent, they can control their width, but you can't control your height.
Not really their problem, though, is it?
No.
Nothing says you have to provide service to a tall person.
It does not, except then you probably lose a customer base, which is then a negative.
They should maybe fly in their own airline. Call it Geneair.
That would be. Well, I think there is. That's like there's
an Irish airline.
There is a Ryanair in Ireland, and that's like you give them three quarters. By the way, when you're popping on the plane,
even less room in that airline.
Ryanair charges you, I believe, to use the bathroom.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because I know in general European airlines blow.
There's nothing and I think it takes quarters or something. So I don't know what you do if you really have to pee and you don't have any quarters on that flight.
It's not a quarter, though. It's a 10 pence.
Probably, yes. We'd like a gold coin to for that to activate the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
But
no, that's true. But nonetheless, that Irish whiskey is included with your ticket.
Well, see, that's good. That would calm you down. Or anger you. I don't know. It all depends on how the whiskey.
There might be some women holding chickens on the flight, but
but this is the thing when there was nothing that would be more annoying on the airlines like Southwest, when you sit wherever you want to sit when you get in.
Yeah, that's horrible.
There's nothing worse than being 6'6" and getting on, and there's like 2 3-foot people sitting in the front row with all the legroom. It's like, as an airline, you can help mitigate this with, you know what, if you are, and they weigh everything else. They put your little bag into the thing to see if it fits.
Yeah,
I'm fine walking in front of a fucking stick that says, over 6'4", so we need extra legroom.
And I'm absolutely fine with you having taller seats in airlines that I don't want to pay for, so you could pay for your own extra length seats, and that already exists, doesn't it? It's called first class.
But it's not. Fuck you. It is not the correct price model. I don't mind paying extra for a little extra legroom, but it usually comes down to something like this. It's like, well, if you want to fly coach, I was going to say $100, but that's probably like $400.
It's $400 for a typical ticket in coach right now.
You know, if you want to buy coach, that's $400. But if you want first class, that's $4,000.
It's not, though.
Yeah, it is. It's still a couple.
No, it's really not.
Yeah,
it's not $1,000.
Well, okay, so it's over twice the price, 2.5 times the price. I don't want the amenities. I don't need the champagne and caviar dream.
You're a socialist.
All I want is a little extra legroom.
Yes, and you get that leg room, but they throw in the amenities.
Better have a few hookers and blow if you're going to pay that much.
That's $4,000.
That's called the Gene Tuliev package.
That's right. That's not $1,000. That's $4,000 right there. Yes.
You just have to click here. You have to sign this release, and then we'll be good to go.
Here. Yes.
This is called the special Gene row.
I really think that the airline is in the business of cargo delivery. The passengers that it carries are the extra money that it makes, and there's nothing that says it has to accommodate anything or anybody.
Yeah. Economy Plus. That is exactly what we need. I have no name.
Don't some airlines have Economy Plus? Isn't that a thing in some airlines?
It may be. I haven't flown in a long time.
You're just bitching, even though you don't fly. Okay.
It's been a while, because this is part of the reason why.
Yeah.
Because it's just so uncomfortable. When we went to Ireland, I will say the people that worked for American Airlines were fantastic. Because you walk up to check in, both here in Chicago and in Ireland, and the girl looks up like, yeah, you're going to need extra legroom. And put us in bulkhead seats both times. I understand that may not always be possible.
Yeah.
But trying to accommodate that goes a long way rather than, wow, you're too tall, so pay us 5 times the amount. There are ways to fix this. I mean, there are. And this is, I think, what you may start seeing if people like companies like American Airlines decide they want to get rid of first class. Well, they're still going to want to make a little extra money somewhere. So I think you probably will have some rows of what they're going to call like an economy plus, which is, we can just get a few extra bucks out of you because, how much per inch?
Yeah, they probably will. And it'll be $1,200.
Like, what do you pay? A few extra inches, boom. Or you just.
Oh, did you want comfort with your flight? Yeah, that's an extra $1,000.
Did you not want to die of deep vein thrombosis after you're done here?
Well, then you shouldn't be flying, period.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just don't even want to deal with any of that stuff.
No, that's true. And unless you're talking about a decent sized jet, private air travel is no better. It's cramped. Not. You can't stand up full height. You're like, even a normal height person can't.
You can totally recline, baby.
Well, yeah, you could recline. Well, yeah, I mean, you could all go horizontal if you want, but it's not all that people think it is, unless you're talking about one of the larger private jets, which most people aren't going to get a chance to fly on. So yeah, I don't know.
I know it was very nice of you to offer to send your private jet out to Chicago to pick me up to come out to Austin, but we haven't done that yet.
No, we haven't. Probably won't. But yeah, but I'm happy to offer as long as we don't do it.
Right. It's one hell of an the offer's out there. I mean, that's it. It's a great offer. Oh,
in fact, I'll top that offer. I'm going to offer to send my private TARDIS to pick you up.
Whoa, that's awesome.
And bring you to Austin in the TARDIS. In fact, that's, you're not even going to notice any time going by while that's happening.
If you actually had a TARDIS, would you go to Austin? I mean, if you could.
Well, I live in Austin, so no, I wouldn't go to Austin. That makes no sense.
You could go anywhere in the universe. Would you really be in Austin at any time?
Well, if you watch and pay attention to Doctor Who, most of your destinations sure seem to be in the UK.
It's really wild, isn't it?
Why would you constantly be going to the UK if you have a TARDIS?
Doctor Who is obviously afraid of Americans and Africans.
Or how about other planets? Hello.
Yeah, I know. Well, that just proves there's no life on most of those planets.
Yeah, it must be the case. All right, I have a topic changer. Because I haven't done that enough this episode, so we can mark this segment as being complete.
Right, chapter over.
I bought new replacement earmuffs for my headphones. Have you had to ever do that?
I have, and then I immediately took them off because the headphones sounded completely different because the amount of padding is vital at moving where it determines where the speaker is actually going to be.
Okay.
So buying a third party was also a really bad idea. Buying a third party replacement. Now, different headphones will be a little bit different, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong just buying new foam for your ear pads.
Well, sometimes you can't help it.
Well, yeah, because it disintegrates.
Because the headphones aren't available anymore. You can't replace the headphones, so you have to buy replacement parts.
And did this go well? I mean, you have to find a company that's making the replacement parts that are
I just bought cheap Chinese shit.
See, that's the problem.
But no, they're fine. The one downside is the foam is very firm compared to the old foam. But the reason I'm buying replacements is because the old foam literally turned into flat. Like there's nothing. The foam is disintegrated. So I had to get replacements because I was basically, there were no. They were sitting right on my ears instead of around my ears.
Yes, and that is not comfortable.
No. So I had to get replacement. But I noticed how firm, almost hard this foam is. And I'm sure over years it'll get softer as it starts to disintegrate itself. But it is something that I never had to do in the past because typically I would not wear out a set of headphones because I would, buy the shiny new headphones. And now this current set, I really have liked for many years. It's my favorite set of headphones. I probably have 10 sets in the house, but this is my favorite set of headphones. And I've gotten to the point where the cushion has completely disappeared on this set, and they don't make these anymore.
So you ordered the new ones, and
yeah, the foam was $13, which is not bad. No, it works fine. It's just firm. The difference is, I think that I can feel the shape of the foam on my head where it's touching my head, where the original foam that was on the headset, I think, was soft enough that you really couldn't tell where they were. They were just kind of hovering around your head.
What headphone brand and model are we talking here?
Oh, this is an AKG K701s made in Austria.
Well, the best are always made in Austria.
But AKG was purchased by a Chinese company about 5 years ago.
So the new ones are garbage?
And you can still buy K701s, but they're made in China. So it's the same design, but it's not made in Austria. So it's shit. So yeah, replacement of the actual headphone was not an option, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, because I saved a bunch of money by not replacing expensive headphones.
True, because they last a long time.
Yeah, they're supposed to last forever.
There is a Geekeria brand on Amazon for $19 of replacement pads. I mean, what you probably have to do is try a few different sets of pads and find ones that are to your liking.
Well, I'm okay keeping these. It's just they were surprisingly different. And I will say the color match was very good, though. They were exactly the same color as the ones that I took off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that disintegrate. And that's the other thing I like about this particular set of pads, or the ones that came originally with the headphones as well, is that they have the sort of velour covering rather than leather.
Right. Well, that's what the ones I use are leather, and the velour I didn't mind, but it was just a little too thick where it kind of felt like the sound had totally changed, because I'm guessing it's all about the angle that the speakers are pointing into your ear. And if it's right, it goes right in and it sounds good. And if that's slightly off, then, wow, I pulled up Amazon and there's Southern Comfort Eggnog. That seems interesting.
Now you might have to order that.
You're like, that could be a party. I mean, eggnog, though, I can tell you that more around Christmas, on how the Christmas Eve where the eggnog was spoiled and everybody else had it, and I was never an eggnog fan. And when all of my cousins, this was at my grandmother's house down on 40.
Is this traditional Irish eggnog?
No, this was not the Irish side, but this was.
This is the Polish eggnog. I see.
No, this was the Irish. My grandmother that married the Irishman then got divorced and married somebody else. So it really wasn't an Irish household, if you will. But it was an old house down on the south side of Chicago, back of the yards kind of a thing.
Oh, dangerous territory.
Now it is, yeah. Well, even then it was at the point we were still going there, but there were only 2 bathrooms in the place. And then when you have 4 or 5 people throwing up at the same time.
Oh my God.
It's
hold on. So the eggnog was so poisoned that people couldn't, this was not a delayed reaction. They literally were throwing up right afterwards.
Yeah, it was not good. I don't know how they didn't notice when drinking, except that they were kids.
That sounds like it was actually poisoned.
Could have been.
With arsenic.
You never know. I mean, my grandmother's dead now, so there's really no way to ask if she was trying to off the whole family.
Knock off the whole family all at once. Because the most typical issues with products that have dairy in them is salmonella. But salmonella poisoning you don't feel it for about 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, it wouldn't normally hit
because
right
the bacteria has to go through your stomach into your gut before it really starts to multiply and go crazy. It's not going to do that in your stomach. So it's definitely a delayed reaction. Now, some of us are immune to salmonella, so that's not an issue. But
okay, now there's a challenge.
What's that?
To try to poison you with salmonella.
Not going to happen. I'm immune.
You're like, I see, exactly. I'm immune to it. Nothing to worry about here.
Not at all. Nope. Salmonella. I mean, there's a few different poisons I'm immune to. It just randomly, naturally happens to be the case.
Is this why the 3-letter agencies brought you on board, or we're not supposed to talk about that? I'm sorry.
The 3-letter agencies. I don't know about any of those.
K. G.
A legitimate businessman. Everybody knows that.
completely, perfectly legitimate businessman.
Exactly. I do legitimate business. Let's move on.
And how is
Next
that going? How is that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm still, nothing happens in December. December is a dead month. So
for shopping, you could have.
For me,
why aren't you in the Christmas mood? People could have been buying AngryRusherPrepper.com goods.
Not for Christmas. No. The big push is going to be in January. We're gonna do a massive marketing campaign in January.
Well, we'll all be waiting with
bated
breath for that one.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
I mean, before we head, I do want to.
I got to get your address so I can send you a free sample.
Ooh, I like free samples.
Yeah, I know.
Send that with a few Apple Watches, a couple of iMac Minis, and
would you wear an Apple Watch if I gave you an Apple Watch?
Probably.
You don't have a fucking iPhone.
Yeah, I do. I have an iPhone and an iPad. I mean,
Okay. Whoa. If you have an iPhone and iPad, then you need to send me whatever the hell name you use on there so I can use you with iMessage. Because this has been my major complaint in trying to communicate with you, is that your fucking Android phone doesn't have iMessage, which means that it only receives regular text messages, not the Apple kind, which means that I have to only use a phone to send you stuff, and I can't use a computer.
Now, see, the nice thing is the iPad that I have sits next to when I'm watching television. So that's the only time I'm going to see that. But that is when I'm not sitting in front of the desktop. The iPhone is rarely used, but it is charged and sitting within arm's length where I'm sitting here.
You keep insisting on using some program that nobody else does for text messaging. Only you and your wife are the only two people that use this product.
Yeah, so nobody can trace that.
Nobody else can. Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you use Tox,
the rest of us use Signal.
Aren't you privacy? Yeah, fuck Signal, just like Telegram. Oh, Telegram's really safe. Do you see that one? Now they're turning the stuff over to the authorities.
Telegram's never been safe.
No.
Signal, though, on the other hand, is the one that everybody uses that wants actual safety.
Yeah, actual safety.
Mm-hmm.
I scoff. I laugh. I can't wait till Signal people start getting arrested for the stuff they put on Signal.
All right. Yes. And I'm sure Tox, which nobody uses because it's not a real product.
It's open source.
That's super exactly. It's open source.
Peer-to-peer, baby. Signal was hacked.
Yes, I really want my my products to be created in a way where my messages are sent through other people.
Works the best.
Okay.
But we do have to thank Sir Truck Driver for being the lone person that ignored your please not to donate to the show. He came in with a $5.65 monthly donation, and that's very much appreciated, Sir Truck Driver.
Totally.
Stay safe.
I think he gets a portion of his truck driving listening time from us, so he's appreciative of that.
Yeah, he listens to this. He listens to Grumpy. He listens to Rage. He listens to the Rock and Roll Pre-Show. He listens to Random. We have a lot of fun. And
does he listen to anything that doesn't involve a Darren?
Probably not. But why would anybody listen to anything that I'm not on?
Well, it's hard to find the time not to listen to anything that has a Darren in it because Darren's on 24/7.
It is. It is the Darren O. It's the whole experience. It's nonstop. It is unrelenting, they might even say.
It is unrelenting in some ways. That's for sure. But, it's also pretty random.
Unrelenting.show. I also got it was a very nice Christmas card.
Yeah.
But it was addressed to Grumpy Old Ben's Darren O'Neill, and it was from Lady Get Over It and Sir Hopscotch, who had very big donations to Unrelenting recently.
Nice.
So I don't know why they decided to put Grumpy Old Ben's on that. Was I not supposed to share the good tidings with you? Or maybe they know you're anti-Christmas or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or they think you're Santa Claus.
I'm probably 2 years away from playing Santa in a mall.
When the beard, now is the beard just going to turn white that quickly? I mean, have you been coloring it?
The beard has been turning white. Like if I look at the bottom of the beard, which is probably about 2 years ago.
That's dark.
It is predominantly brown with a few strands of white. And if I look at the top of the beard right next to my chin, it is 95% white with 5% brown.
So you're not the guy on that commercial that's about to go on a Zoom meeting or something, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to brush the stuff in just for men."
Why? No.
You're not trying to You're not trying to really latch on to your
playing
youth.
Santa is literally my retirement gig.
That's your exit strategy?
That's my exit strategy right there.
It's a good one. You get to work like
mall
1
Santa
week out of the year.
It's more than 1 week. It's about 3 weeks.
Are you inspired by the Billy Bob Thornton movie Bad Santa?
Yes, that was a great film.
Oh, that I rarely say Christmas movies are great films, but that one.
Every Christmas movie is a great film. That one's a great film. Christmas Story is a great film. I mean, I don't know what Christmas movies you don't like.
All. But Lauren Graham, that's her name, right? The whole scene of fuck me Santa, fuck me Santa, fuck me Santa. I mean, that will stick with you, even if you only see that movie once. But Billy Bob Thornton, fantastic in there.
He is pretty good in there. He's better in there than he was in Sling Blade, that's for sure. His performance in Sling Blade was very mono.
I love French fried potatoes.
Like, it wasn't very difficult to do. Like anybody, like you're doing it right now, literally.
I love French fried potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
But when he took the little kid home, and well, who's home? Well, just my grandmother. Is Granny Spry? It was just some great one-liners in that movie.
It is fun to watch a movie making fun of American culture for sure.
If you're gonna have a nice Christmas, what you want to do, I think, is watch Bad Santa back to back. And it has nothing to do with Christmas, but just throw in Shakes the Clown too, because it's very much the same type of movie.
No.
Yeah,
that's a dangerous movie to watch. You're liable to become suicidal if you watch Shakes. I would not recommend anybody watch that movie unless they're properly trained and prepared to deal with suicide.
You think that's that bad? It's going to put people right over the edge.
That's not a bad movie. It's just it's going to make people suicidal.
It's a little depressing, maybe.
It's a little bit. But how could you not want to watch Christmas Story? It's the greatest Christmas movie ever made.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I like little. I'm going to get a Red Rocket BB gun, right? And I did, but not with the BB gun.
No. Oh, that's why you don't like it. I see. Personal. Yes, exactly.
I don't want to deal with that. I mean, I know they were talking.
How old do you think that kid is that was in that movie as a kid?
When he played the part?
How old do you think he is now?
I think he's like 50 now.
Yeah, he's 51.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But I know they were talking, Adam Curry, after his dental work, that there were pictures and how his whole face was black and blue, and that I know I have a picture like that after the last eye surgery that, what looked like I went 10 rounds with Tyson. Well, if you want to.
But you might as well tell people that.
It's like, you want to talk about pain and misery. Having people in your mouth is one thing. Let them do it in your eye.
Don't. No, don't.
Yeah, I know. Even guys that are like, so it's like, no, don't even want to hear that. Nope. It freaks people out. And I understand why. Nobody wants to think that they're taking little needles and they're sticking them in your eye and they're trying to push the retina back up. Good times.
Yeah. You're just turning people off left and right here.
Well, it is the end of the show. So, I mean, that's the perfect time to do it, isn't it?
To turn people off?
You doing another big episode of the Good Old Boys podcast this weekend?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's a regular thing sticking around.
It's a regular thing sticking around and gaining subscribers at a nice brisk pace.
Ooh, but is anybody sending you funds? Are they supporting the show yet?
We're not really soliciting funds.
Which is good because nobody was offering.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't even know where to send them.
Well, they could send it to Sir Gene Speaks, and in lieu of you.
They could send them to Sir Gene Speaks, but I don't really check that. Actually, here's true story. I don't check that PayPal account because I assume nobody's sending anything.
So when last time I
logged in, there was $128 in there.
So you're like, wow, where did I get that?
I have no idea who sent what.
Well, I actually send you your half of the nothing that comes in here, which is.
Oh, maybe that's where it came from.
Every now and then that comes in. And we'll be doing that again here at the end of the month.
Yeah, very, very good. So I'll get my half of the $5. Perfect. Awesome.
You'll be able to buy yourself like a whole box of Ritz crackers.
Or maybe even a replacement set of
right, cans, right. Definitely. New foam for the cans.
New foam for the can. Hey, what else does a podcaster need beyond new foam for the cans?
As long as you have a good microphone, good foam for the cans is vital.
Here's the thing I like about audio gear. it fucking lasts a long time if you buy good stuff.
It does.
Like literally, one mic can last you 40 years.
Oh, yeah. You take care of that stuff, it'll last.
Same thing with a good set of headphones, not the cheap, shitty ones, but the good set of headphones.
Well, yeah, the foam and stuff may go, but the
you can replace
themselves.
the foam on the mic clearly needs to get replaced at some point too.
Yeah, which is the problem, like with the RE20s, is that eventually the inner foam has to be replaced, and a lot of people don't know that, which is why if you know what to look for on eBay, a lot of the times you can find these old, really cool vintage ones relatively cheap, as long as you're willing to go buy the $30 kit that I think they still cost about $30 to replace the foam.
Yep.
Go in, do that, good as new.
Exactly. No, it's compared to the price of the mic, still a good deal.
Hell yeah. They are standards for a reason.
Now, if only we can get good, cheap quality Motus, we'd be all set.
Well, this thing just seems to be lasting. I mean, I'm not
well, knock on wood when you say shit like that, but the fact that they're still not manufacturing them until next year, the next batch, definitely is problematic for people wanting to get into podcasting.
True. You need a good device, and I still don't like the Rode big podcaster thing. I don't. It takes up too much space.
That's my problem with it. Exactly. Is it for what it does? It takes up way too much of your desk.
And podcasters don't need
How
that.
often are you going to fiddle with those dials, man? Seriously.